Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be ranking all 32 NHL teams so far this season using Tier Maker. And let's get right into it with the Anaheim Ducks. Looking at their standings right now, or where they are on the standings story, they're 10-10-3 with 23 points. And they are 6th in the Pacific. And some of you right now might be asking why they're not in that maybe no playoff category. Well, I mean, they're right in the playoff hunt still, I think. And the only thing that is keeping them in this playoff hunt is their goaltending. Dostal with an impressive .921 save percentage, 6-7-2 record. And then Gibson, who just came back, 4-1-1, .916 save percentage. And I mean, other than that, that's all really the Ducks have going for them right now, besides their young talent and being a fun team to watch. They haven't been putting up too many goals here. Their leading scorer, Troy Terry, 6 goals, 13 assists. He's also a guy who's been soaking up a lot of minutes for this group. And you look at the depth of this team, it is not a playoff, forward group by any means. And their defense as well, it's very young. There's only so much Radko Gudas can put on his back and carry here. But that's where we got the Ducks. Now, next up here, we got the Colorado Avalanche, and this is an interesting one here. They have 13 wins, 12 losses, 26 points, 2 points out of a wild card spot. They have given up 93 goals on the season, which is the second worst in the West. And they've been scoring a lot, though, which is, in Colorado fashion, still pretty good. But man, oh man, this team is not like it once was. If this team were to go in round one of the playoffs today, they would probably get swept in 4 or lose in 5. I mean, the bottom 6, we'll start bottom 6 forward-wise. This is not a team that is going to win you much in the playoffs with this bottom 6 here. I mean, Ivan has 8 points. That's the most in that, back bottom 6. And even, up top, it's seen better days. And really, this team's getting carried by McKinnon and Ranson. And McKinnon with 7 goals, 29 assists. And Ranson in 15 goals, 19 assists. And defensively wise, they're still pretty solid. Taves, Makar, Gerard. And, they do have injuries. Josh Manson being out hurts them a lot. Duran, Wood, Colton, obviously Landeskog. And then probably the real defeating thing for the Colorado Avalanche is their goaltending. Georgiev, I've never been big on him with the Avs. He's an .875 save percentage right now. He's somehow .500. And they just brought in Wedgwood, which I like. Kind of refresh a little bit. Give him, maybe a little bit more, little bit to run with here. He could take the starting role for sure. Would I want Scott Wedgwood as my starting goalie going into the playoffs? Maybe not, but we'll see. He's going to get a chance here. Yeah, Colorado, I just can't say that they're going to be in the playoffs for sure, which sounds kind of insane, but I know Calgary, I don't know if it can hold on forever, but you still got St. Louis who's fighting, Utah who's fighting. And yeah, it's going to be close, but I think they'll get in. I just can't say for sure yet. Next up here, I got the Blue Jackets, and man, this team has impressed me so much. They are 2 points away from a spot in a wildcard spot, and they've been just following behind Sean Monahan here, who's look back to when he was in Calgary, the Calgary days. He has 8 goals, 14 assists. And Voronkov and Marchenko on his wings, they've looked very good too. And even the younger guys have been stepping up. Kent Johnson, 6 goals. Fantilli, 5 goals. Cole Sillinger, 12 assists on the year. That's a great second line for them. And then in the bottom 6, they've looked well. They've played well defensively, and they've supported well. And Werenski's having an unreal season. 8 goals, 18 assists for him. And you look at this D as well, it's pretty solid. I mean, going into the season, do you think they're going to be at the bottom? Yeah. But they're staying with it here. Lincolns has an .894 save percentage. They might want a little bit more from him, but he has been winning some games. But yeah, man, it'd be crazy if Columbus made the playoffs. Up next here we got Chicago, and I don't need to say much. This team has 18 points, 8 wins, 15 losses, and they're just not very good. Bedard's doing all he can. Just 5 goals, 14 assists. But after that, a guy who's honestly fighting Bedard for MVP right now, Ryan Donato. What a season he's having. 10 goals already. And he's been finding the net. But defensively isn't a very good team. And you can see their D. It's very young, very inexperienced. And yeah, not too much to say here. Their goaltending has been terrible. Mrazek has 908 save percentage, but yeah, just another year rebuilding for the Hawks. And up next here, I have the St. Louis Blues, who I'm putting in at a bubble spot because they're right there as well up here with Colorado. They have 24 points, 11 wins, 12 losses, 2 ties, 2 points back from Colorado, 4 points back from Calgary, which hold that wild card spot. And St. Louis has just played very, mid-hockey. 63 goals for, 79 against. As I said before, 24 points here. And goal scoring has been tough. Getting consistent goal scoring at times. Robert Thomas, 2 goals, 8 assists. Maybe they want more from him. Jake Neighbors, he's played well. 8 goals, 4 assists. Kyrou, 7 goals, 13 assists. Shen, 12 points. Bottom 6 hasn't looked terrible. Broberg. Defense, I think they could add a little bit maybe. Look at that bottom 2 pairing for them. At times, a little scary. But yeah, Broberg. I like this fit with St. Louis here. He's been playing a lot. He's played well as well. And goaltending-wise, Binnington and Hofer both have .899 save percentages. Binnington has played the majority of games here. And yeah, but St. Louis is very mid-hockey right now. I think they could make a push. Maybe they add a couple pieces as well. Maybe they make the playoffs. All right, next up, with another bubble team, we got the Boston Bruins. Right now, they're in 3rd in the Atlantic Division. And really, between them and Tampa, I just don't know. I can't say for sure that they'll be in the playoffs just because they've had a better month of November. They're 5-4-1 in their last 10. They've looked a little better, but I don't think I've seen enough quite yet. And we'll start in the goaltending. Goaltending-wise, Korpisalo has a .907 save percentage. I didn't know that, and he's 5-2-1 in the year. Swayman still hasn't really found his game yet. He's 7-9-2, .892 save percentage. And their defense has been solid, but still teams have kind of found out how to get by them. It's a big decor. Been getting walked around at times and just have given up a lot. Pasternak, 9 goals, 14 assists. He leads this group. Bottom 6-wise, they've been solid as well, which they usually are. Obviously bringing in some newer guys in. Injury-wise, they don't have any injuries besides Lindholm. He is huge on that decor. They need him back for sure. But yeah, the Boston bubble team, we'll see halfway mark when I do this again. What I change, will I put them in a playoff lock? We'll see. Next up here, got Montreal. Don't have much to say. They're bottom of the Atlantic, bottom of the Eastern Conference. There's no way this team makes the playoffs. Especially they're a rebuilding team and they have not been playing well at all. However, I don't think it's time to change coaching. I think that's not the issue here. Vancouver Canucks, putting them in a playoff lock here. Currently 3rd in the Pacific, 29 points. And they have played very well. They've bounced back. They had a tough start, but 10-2 on the road, 6-4-0 in their last 10. They've looked good in this last month here. Now, you asked me a few weeks ago, I'd say they're definitely a bubble team, but we're here now, and a guy we're going to start off talking about here, Jake DeBrusk, 10 goals, 9 assists. Pedersen's also bounced back. He has 7 goals now and 14 assists. Garland, I mean, they're just getting it from really everywhere. Bottom 6, maybe they want a little bit more scoring here. Höglander, 2 goals, 3 assists. Probably want more from him. Quinn Hughes, 23 assists on the season already. And yeah, goaltending's been good too. With Lankinen with the 907. The backup spot, not Shilov's 847 save percentage. He's had a rough year, but Lankinen has taken the net. He's looked good. This Canucks team, they get healthy. They can even be better if, Hronek, Miller, Forbert come in the lineup. But yeah, this team's a playoff lock. Now this one might come as a bit of a surprise, but I got the Capitals as a cup contender. They have a 17-6-1 record, 35 points, second in the Metro, and second in the entire Eastern Conference here. And they have just found ways to win hockey games. They're in a 4-game heater right now. And, last year they had a tough time scoring goals in a mediocre D-core, and that just was a team that wasn't beating the Rangers in round 1. But, I mean, in a playoff series, they have the goaltending. Logan Thompson, 911 save percentage. The D-core is much stronger. Chychrun, Van Riemsdyk, Sandin, Roy, Carlson, Faravari. I like that. And then in the goal-scoring part, they have just figured out how to score goals. They bring in Pierre-Luc Dubois. He's played well. And they've just figured out how to win games. And they can even add more too. So keep that in mind as well. Up next here, I got the Flames as a bubble team, currently holding on to that wild card spot with 28 points. And this team has just slowed down to score goals. You've seen they bring guys up from the AHL, send them back down. The younger guys, Pelletier, Coronado. I think Coronado is just a for sure stay now. He has 6 goals, 4 assists, and they've been getting scoring throughout the lineup, which is a good thing for them. But they still have lacked overall as a team their goal scoring, and it has slowed down, as I mentioned before. Defensively, I honestly like their D-core, the top 4. I like their top 4, but at third pairing, the goaltending's made up for that completely with Dustin Wolf, 918 save percentage, Vladar with a 900. Now up next here, we got the Devils, and I mean, they're a cup contender. Leading the Metro, 36 points, 17-9-2. They have played 28 games, right? 4 more than Washington. But 7-3 in their last 10, 11-4 on the road. And this team is good. And if they can figure out how to play playoff hockey, I think they can make a deep run here. Looking at the forward group, it's pretty deep, especially up the middle. And defensively, just as good. And in net, even better. So this is a complete team, and if Sheldon Keefe can, instill the little playoff, I guess a lot of it playoff experience, but yeah, this New Jersey team needs to really buckle it down when playoff comes, especially defensively, because they will never have a problem scoring. Now we got another team from the East, the Flyers, and I'm going to put them here at a bubble spot because they've impressed me. They've battled 7-2-1 their last 10, 27 points in the year, 12-10-3. And I think a lot of us expected them to not be that high up in, a wild card spot. And John Tortorella has really done something here. This team's played well. Konechny, 13 goals, 17 assists. Couturier looks good. He hasn't spent a lot of time away. And yeah, I like this forward group. In a playoff series, is that a playoff forward group? Probably not, but they're playing well. They're playing very, very well. Defensively, could also make some adjustments. They're very young. So I'm even surprised to see, how well they're playing. Defensively, they haven't had a whole lot of help goaltending-wise. They've had their struggles and just been back and forth between goaltenders, but they're still right there in the standings. Now, I feel like I shouldn't have 3 teams already in the Cup contender year, but I have to put Vegas up there. They've played very good this season. 33 points on the year, 15-7-3. And I look at this roster, especially up front and in D, on the D line. Yeah, you guys know what I'm saying. Yeah, defensively they're good. Offensively they're very good. They do give up goals, but that is just as much goaltending as it is defense. That might be a place where they look to fix at the trade deadline, but defensively you look at this core and it's still very good. And up front everyone is scoring. I think they'd like that I think they'd like Victor Olofsson to, start putting in. He kind of came over here fresh scenery for a reason, and he hasn't really shown that quite yet. But yeah, this is a good team got 4 good lines of forwards here. Kind of forgot I had a playoff lock category there. I almost just put them in the bubble tier. But yeah, Carolina, 33 points, 16-7-1. And they've looked really good this year. Forwards are all generating offense, defense, playing Carolina hockey, playing well defensively. And I just don't know if one goaltending wise, Korchekov, if Freddie Anderson, he's dealing with injuries kind of left, right, and center, and when playoff time comes around, is he going to be 100%? We don't know. But the reason I'm putting them in playoff lock and not, cup contender is just because of this team has just been kind of the same, right? Go in, maybe make an Eastern Conference final, but ultimately I just can't see them making the Stanley Cup final and getting out of the East. All right, now I got the Jets in the playoff lock spot and not the Stanley Cup contender spot just because they've been slipping quite a bit lately. They're now back down to earth here. They have 36 points, tied with Minnesota, 18-7, 4-6 in their last 10, and they've lost 3 in a row. So it's been slipping a little bit here, and on that big win streak of theirs, they were just playing exactly how they want to play. I don't think their roster is necessarily above anyone else's. I mean, I look at this defense, decor. Dallas's is better. Minnesota's, I'd even say, is better. But they've been scoring, had great goaltending. And the question is, will that goaltending transfer over to the playoffs? All right, you guys can probably see that I just put 2 up there in the rebuild category, Seattle and the New York Islanders. Start off with Seattle here, and the really problem with Seattle is that, 1, I just don't see their roster being too good, and 2, is that there is a argument that I can claim that the Anaheim Ducks are a better team than them, and I honestly think maybe they are, but I don't like the way Seattle's been playing in this first quarter of the season. I don't think they really have a chance. I think, and looking at their schedule too, it does get tougher. And they've been playing very mid-hockey, and that's where I kind of see the connection with New York, is that they've been playing all right, but I can't see them. I just can't see these teams pushing it past into the playoffs. I just can't see it. All right, next up here we have the Kings as a playoff lock, and I don't have a lot to say on them. I mean, they've just played very well this season, currently sitting second. They could also end up being first. You never really know. Also, as a playoff lock, we have the Tampa Bay Lightning, and this team, although they're not how they were, a couple years ago, they're still very good. I like bringing Gensel in. Kucherov and Hedman, they're still playing very well. Vasilevsky's going to be relied on more than ever here down the stretch. But, yeah, this team's a playoff lock for sure. Now, something just feels a little bit different here for the Toronto Maple Leafs this season under Craig Berube. And this year they have the goaltending. They have maybe a bit more physicality in their game, a bit more defensive style of play here. And it just, the whole vibe feels different about this team. And I think this could be the year. I know everyone always says that, but I think this year they could go on a bit of a run here. There's absolutely no reason why they can't. Now going out west to Edmonton, where the Oilers, very slow start to the season this year again, but they've been playing well recently. 7-2-1 in their last 10, hanging on to a wild card spot in the West. Man, I think going into the season, a lot of us had them as a cup contender. So far, they just have not proven that they're back to that standard at all. Now in the rebuild tier, we have the Pittsburgh Penguins. Don't have to say too much on these guys. It's just been a mediocre season. Man, this could be it. Could be it for this core group in Pittsburgh after this year. Similar to Pittsburgh, the Nashville Predators also having a bad season. And just this team and its defensive style of hockey is not doing it for them. Goaltending has had its struggles. Saros has had better years. And just, they have not been able to find ways to win hockey games when they definitely should be. Man, I like to be optimistic about these kind of bottom teams making a run back into playoff conversation, but I'm not convinced on this Preds team at all, and I don't know. I don't know if they're going to make it in this year, and could that force a rebuild? Maybe. Or do they load up at the deadline and acquire pieces that might help them get into the playoffs if they're in a position to do that? Now on to the Rangers, where they had a pretty tough week last week, but I have them in a playoff lock position just because I haven't been totally convinced they can, get out of the East and win and contend for a cup here. Just been a little bit too rocky for me, especially after this last week, to really put them up there in that cup contender spot with the way they've been playing. Now I just plumped these three teams all in the bubble spot: the Ottawa Senators, Detroit Red Wings, and Buffalo Sabres. Start off in Ottawa, where I think out of these three teams, they're probably, in the middle. They haven't really met expectations yet. That also includes Detroit. Both these teams just haven't played very well. For Ottawa, their goaltending, similar to last season, hasn't been very, very consistent. Allmark hasn't played great. Detroit's goaltending, on the other hand, has played very well. They just have had trouble cracking down on defense and scoring goals, so we'll see. And then Buffalo, these last couple of weeks, they've really turned it up. I think they could even maybe make the playoffs. We'll see. It's going to be a battle between them and Boston. It's going to be competitive, and I think that's a good step for Buffalo. Now the Sharks, they are a very fun team to watch, do not get me wrong, but when it comes down to the stretch, I don't think what they have going on will last, so I have them down in the rebuild spot. Now I have Utah in a bubble playoff spot just because of their good start earlier in the year. I really like the way they played. Goaltending has potential to play very well, and they can just grind out wins, but maybe when I make the video at around the halfway point, they might be in the rebuild category, but we'll definitely see. It's going to be interesting to watch them, St. Louis, these central teams here, battle it out. Last but not least, now in the cup contender category, I have the Minnesota Wild and the Dallas Stars. Both of these teams, you can even include Winnipeg here, play very good defensive hockey and just overall play like it's playoffs right now. And it is going to be very interesting to see who comes out on top when it is all said and done in the Central. Both these teams are on heaters right now. So really stay tuned and watch these teams as the season goes on. Not to mention the goaltending matchups between all of these teams. All right, guys, that will do it for me ranking teams a quarter of the way through the season here. If you have any disagreements, leave them down in the comments. And I'll be posting another one of these halfway through the year. And yeah, for now, like and subscribe if you want more, and I'll see you all in the next one.